Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and I know it's been a long time since I did like a yarn chat or show you something I'm making video, but I have been making things. So the first and the easiest thing that I can just show you, I did show you that video. I went to the local yarn shop. I went to Fiber in Neenah, and then in Appleton I went to a store called Casting On. I can try to remember to insert the link to that video. I mean, it wasn't very much. I just showed you what I bought and took some pictures of those shops and put it in there. I've gone to Fiber before. I have not been to Casting On. I think that place opened up after Iris's had closed out. It seems like there's like a revolving door of yarn shops in the Fox Valley. Like Iris's were open, then they shut down, and then Casting On's open. And then Neenah, I can't remember the name of the shop, that they had one downtown and it was open for a number of years. They closed and then Fiber opened. But anyway, I had bought this Alice in Wonderland yarn, and it is a worsted weight yarn, so I made a hat. Now this yarn was really interesting, where 90% of the yarn was purple and just on the end was this tealish white aqua chunk. It caked up like this, so you would see that it goes for a really long time being purple, and then, yeah, for a fairly long time it looks like. Oh, and then you'll get this aqua, darker turquoise, aqua white section, and then it goes back to being mostly purple, which had this really kind of fun stripy look here at the hat. As you see, it started right here. And as I made it, the stripe kept, now I'm getting tangled, twisting all the way up until here when the decrease happened, and then the top looks like this. Now I haven't taken the knitting needles out of the top because I'm not really a fan of it. I thought I could still frog it. So I just took these like little shorty cables and I put it like this so I could see what it looked like. But it's a cute hat, I think. But I would have to get like a really nice big pom-pom to kind of cover that weird part at the top where the decreases went. And truthfully, this isn't really a kid's hat because this is superwash merino wool. This is like $30 yarn. So I'm in this stage where I'm considering, do I want a $30 hat? Or do I want to frog it and use it for something else? But to be fair, I don't really knit anything else other than this hat. Hats. I have knit one sock, but worsted weight's too big, so I do have this much left, so I could probably make another hat if I wanted. So I guess maybe it's a $15 hat. Okay, so that's project number one. Making hats these days with the pattern that I follow, Ross's hat pattern, the only hat pattern I make, takes me a couple hours pretty much. Yeah, a couple hours one night to get started, and then I usually pause a bit for the decrease. And then the next night I'll do the decrease. Okay, but before I started that and before I went shopping and all that, I think the video where I went to Hobby Lobby, which I just posted, but technically I had done that prior, like a week before going to the yarn shop. I bought some yarn, I started making granny squares. I saw a granny square similar to this one on a Facebook group. Not exactly this color, but kind of like, you know, this color. I've just found the best color matches I could at Hobby Lobby. And so I made a few of those granny squares. I looked at the picture, figured out, I mean, it's really a granny, right? And then I got this idea to make it dark to light and then light to dark. And before you know it, I'd made all of these grannies. I joined them together with a slip stitch. Kind of the idea that I got from Bella Coco's Christmas blanket. And then I did, after joining it all with aqua, I did a round of aqua all the way around, and then I just did this fan stitch. It does not have a perfect count, so a couple times the corner piece didn't land exactly on the corner, kind of off-centered, but I didn't care, it looks good enough. So now I'm in the process of weaving in my ends. This is 3 squares by 4 squares. It's another lap blanket. I mean, you could have it as a baby blanket. Maybe I'll take a picture of it for the cover photo. But this, I mean, I was making those squares pretty quick. It was it's more like my weekend project where I'll make a bunch, and then on the weekdays after school, I just made like half of one, and then I'd pick it up later. So those are the two big things I've been working on. I just have to weave in my ends. And what was I watching while making all these? I was binge watching something. Do you remember what I was watching while I was making these? On the TV upstairs? Probably true crime, I'm not gonna lie. Probably something about people being murdered. Well, yeah, my husband's down here on that computer, and one kid is over here. Now, so that's just like kind of the yarn chat. I don't have any patterns. I mean, I do have a Ross pattern, but I've shared that link a million times. You can just type in the Ross hat with Ravelry. I don't remember if it's free or not. I think it is. I probably wouldn't have gotten it if it wasn't. No pattern for the granny. You know, it's just the basic granny. But I thought this was super cute. I just wanted to give a little tiny update on Flynn. As you know, many of you know, thanks to Kayla, you know, sharing the news about Flynn and praying for him and making that video, I actually, I watched her video. I think someone sent it to me in a link, and I was down here one weekend, probably working on these grannies, or maybe it was before that. It was probably before this, significantly, because she was talking about how, in her video, obviously, to please pray for Flynn, explaining a little bit what she remembered of his situation. For those of you who don't know, he's been struggling since he was in 2nd grade, and he's in 4th grade now with unknown lymphedema. And a lot of you would say, oh, when you hear me talk about it or see the pictures, like, he has lymphedema, which is true. But it was always like, why? Why does a 8-year-old get lymphedema? Why, you know? So that was kind of like where we were at. I mean, he, of course, has been treated for lymphedema for years now with compression, lymphatic massage, oils, diet changes, and all that. But we finally got a little headway, and we found a good doctor who did some referrals. We got into a children's hospital, and we got an official diagnosis, which is a genetic situation called the Gata-2 deficiency, which is why he has lymphedema. Lymphedema is one of the symptoms, if you will, of having Gata-2 deficiency. So anyway, I was watching her video, and she was talking about, in her video, about how one of her sons was sick with something. I want to say Elijah, maybe. Sorry if it's not. But she was watching a TV show, maybe like a Good Morning show, and she saw this doctor on the show, and she decided to contact him herself. And I thought, why am I sitting around here waiting for these doctors to contact people on our behalf? I think I have some yarn fuzz in my mouth. So anyway, on Holy Monday, and if those of you that aren't super religious, Good Friday, Saturday, Easter Sunday, Holy Monday, we didn't have school. I decided to email some doctors, and I did a little bit of research, and I remember that his dermatologist had mentioned Dr. Chang, a doctor in Chicago. So I looked him up, and I emailed him, and I sent a picture of Flynn in his leg. And then I also looked up a Gata-2 doctor. Now, it turns out this doctor isn't like an actual medical doctor. He's like a research doctor, but he researches Gata-2. That doctor has not gotten back to me, which is fair. But you guys, Dr. Chang's office, a week and a half after I emailed him, got a hold of us. And so we had to put together some information to explain his treatment plan, how long he's had these issues, what have we done, what kind of doctors have we seen. And there's this word to describe a lymph fluid flow test that Flynn's had. I want to say he's had 2 of them. Some type of thing where they put dye in his leg and they have to watch it. And we had to fight hard for Flynn to get that test because they kept denying him. But anyway, my husband sent that out, and within a week of that, or a week and a half, because I think it wasn't exactly the next day. I think it took a few days for my husband to get it all filled out and turned in. We have an appointment in Chicago. So in June, the end of June, we're going to be driving down to Chicago at 8:30 in the morning to see this specialist. Now, plastic surgeons work a lot with lymph nodes because of surgery and fluid buildup and all that jazz. And Dr. Chang lists himself as being, you know, an expert at that area. It's actually a university hospital. It's not just a hospital like Aurora. And so I'm pretty thrilled to be going to this appointment. Some of the things that they can do for him, which apparently, from what I've heard, but researching and chatting with folks, it's very common in Europe, but not very common in America at this point. And according to this other doctor, this is like cutting edge technology. We're so new in lymphatic surgeries that I guess maybe why it's taking so long to get this stuff figured out. But Flynn could, yeah, possibly get either a lymphatic bypass or, I forgot the word. You know, where they take your good transplant, good lymph nodes from other areas and move them down and spread them out. So, yeah, so I'm going to send, you know, Kayla an email because it really was her idea that got me to email the doctor, which seemed to work better than the hospital, interestingly enough. But so, you guys, I'm really hopeful. I know I was really hopeful the last plastic surgeon we talked to. And he was kind of disappointed. Honest, said he couldn't help Flynn, but it was disappointed. So I really I guess, getting our hopes up again for Dr. Chang. So all those prayers really paid off, everybody. I feel like this is a real answer to prayer, getting into Dr. Chang. So keep praying. Pray for Dr. Chang. Pray that he, you know, I'm just want him to be, you know, feeling really, you know, like good about what he does. I don't want to say smart, but you know what I mean? Like you could have a bad day and go in there and just feel terrible. So I'm really hoping that he's feeling good, that he feels like he's on the top of his game and that he's feeling good to help. I don't know, because I know when I'm cranky, sometimes I'm not doing my best. And then he feels that he's got the skills to help Flynn. That's really what we're going for here. The gated 2, there's been a hold still on figuring out what to do about that. But helping Flynn's fat leg will be pretty helpful for Flynn in regards to playing and all that. And so many of you guys gave some really great suggestions on ways and things that you knew or could do to help Flynn. Suggestions on where to get clothes, suggestions on where to get shoes. Someone even offered to help make him a mobility scooter, which at this point, thank God, I think he really doesn't need. But I mean, you know, I hope it doesn't get to that point. But you guys, everyone's been so kind, sending letters and cards and prayers and talking about putting him on your prayer list. And like I said, I really feel like getting this appointment with Dr. Chang in Chicago is really an answer to prayer. So, yeah, that's it. It's the end of the school year. This is the last month of school for us. So crocheting and knitting is kind of taking a little bit on the back burner because we have concerts, spring concerts, the K through 2 one that I have to be at because I teach 2nd grade, Flynn's musical, my daughter's on her musical, you know, their school's doing it, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and they had a Thursday night and a Friday night show. We got 2 today. Awards ceremonies, Maddie and Jared are graduating 8th grade. Cleaning out my classroom. So I know the videos are coming out few and far between, but I really feel like the summer is almost here. Although weather-wise, it is not summer or warm. It's just rainy and I guess maybe that's spring, right? So I really feel like the summer break is almost here, and I am sure I'll have more free time. All right, right? I mean, we don't have any other plans other than taking a family trip to Alaska. That's really all, and then just staying at the house, crocheting, knitting, going to the park, taking the kids to water parks and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it for this video. I had made a video about sewing something for Maddie. I don't know if I'm going to put this out before or after, but it's just a quick 5 little minute video. I was doing a craft. I thought I'd try to make a video about it. If I did put it out and you were horrified by it because the kids were loud in the background, I'm sorry. Sometimes when I want to make a video, I can't insist that everybody be silent. I just got to try my best. And that day we had a whole lot of people at our house. Flynn had friends. their cousin was over, and so I just tried my best, but it was horrifying. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching and subscribing. Thanks for praying for Flynn. Thanks for liking and sharing my videos. And until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.